Good morning. This is the Blaine's World webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You get more information, find out about past and future shows at our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week we focus on positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Christopher McLaughlin and his daughter Ruth, both with Hendersonville Theater. And thanks for being my guest today, guys. And I should ask you, Ruth, you can also, and Christopher, wave to all your fans and friends who are watching this. So if you're watching, this is the McLaughlins. And I should mention that these two folks are going to be in a play that's coming up at Hendersonville Theater, Anne of Green Gables, and they're both going to be starring in this. And so let me ask you both, since I don't think I've had the pleasure of interviewing you before, in terms of acting, I'll turn to Ruth first. You've been acting how long, Ruth?
So the first time well, this doesn't really count, but I was in like a ballet thing that was
That
kind of
counts.
like a play. So yeah. So I played the Rose and Beauty and the Beast, and I think that was like I was 4, so that was probably like
It was about 6 years ago.
yeah, 6 years ago. So I've been acting for I guess 6 years.
Okay. And so this role, is this now your biggest role, or you've had some other big roles like this?
I've had a pretty big role in Peter Pan. I played Michael,
Okay.
which a bit bigger than Minnie May.
Yeah.
So
At the Montfort Park Players, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've been in stuff at Montfort
Yep.
Park Players. And it's just something, Ruth, now do you act in school, or have you acted in other stuff?
We don't have a lot of acting stuff in school. We have like dance classes, but not really like acting. So I'd say no. I don't, and I've never been. So.
No.
Now, is that something after this play? Is this something you want to continue doing, acting?
Yeah, basically acting and also improving my drawing skills because I like to draw.
Okay. And so I think in this play, right, you'll get a chance to draw. There's some drawing in this play that.
Well, maybe Minnie May will draw bad drawings because she's a toddler. So
Great. Now, I'll ask your dad to the same thing too. So I've had the pleasure of seeing your dad in a couple plays. But Christopher, when did you get involved in acting?
My first role was when I was the age of 11. I think I was back at ACT, Asheville Community Theater in Asheville. I used to live in Asheville. I played Winfield Joad in a production of The Grapes of Wrath. So that was my first dip into it, and I've been doing it ever since, on and off. So for the last 30 years, hard to believe, but there it is.
30 years.
Mhm.
Unlike me, only doing it for 6 years. Although I am 19.
And that was the first role. So I've had the pleasure of seeing you, I guess, in a couple of things. But then you took a break for a while, right? Because I saw you in some things at Hendersonville, and then you stopped acting for a couple of years.
Yeah, so I acted on and off for a while, and then I was in the 39 Steps here at Hendersonville Theater. That would have been back in let's see, I guess it was late 2015, I think. And then, and then we had our second child, and so things got busy. And
Gideon was a
changing jobs and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff happened, and then so I didn't act again until this past Christmas, when I was in Every Christmas Story Ever Told here at Hendersonville Community Theater, which was a lot of fun.
And I had the pleasure of seeing it in that, and I really enjoyed it. I think I told you afterward. So I'd like seeing you as a serious dramatic actor. So that was
very, very silly, very, very yes.
Yeah. But was that was tough though? I mean, you did 39 Steps, and in this role, is it tough playing a lot of parts at one time?
Yeah, well, and I've also done the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged, which is similar in that regard. Well, in 39 Steps, I got to play just the one character. That is the one person in that show who doesn't have to play multiple characters. But yeah, playing multiple roles, it's certainly fun. And even in this play, I'll be doing multiple roles, although not quite as madcap, obviously. But I will be playing a couple of different small roles throughout. So I enjoy the challenge.
And Minnie May is basically the only character I'm playing in this play, although she goes to school.
Yeah, she kind of grows as the play goes along.
Yeah.
So
now, is this, Ruth, the first time you've acted? I forget if you said it with your dad or have you acted before with him?
Yeah, we haven't acted
Yeah,
together.
we haven't acted together yet, so this is the first time.
I did do narration on the ballet production she did, but we weren't
But-
really together.
No. So that's
Well, what's interesting, Ruth, about this one, it's actually a family production because not only is it with your dad, but talk about the fact that your mom's involved in this too, and you have one of your siblings is involved.
Mhm. Yeah, my mom is the stage manager, and my brother's playing Charlie Sloan, so who is a schoolboy.
Okay.
And that's
And who-
his acting debut, so
And
the
his
whole
first time acting.
the whole family is together for the first time. It's very exciting.
And so who's directing this?
Skylar Goff, he's
Okay.
my director in Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Well, Peter.
He's directed a number of productions over at Montfort. He worked with the Montfort Muppets and a few other things.
My mom knew him in college.
Yeah, they've known each other for a long time. I believe this is his first production here at Hendersonville.
I think so.
I think so.
Now, you were saying the Montfort Muppets. Were you in that also, Ruth?
Yeah, I'm in Muppets. I was in the Odyssey.
The Odyssey, yeah,
Okay.
last summer.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's really cool. So for the
It was really
benefit,
fun.
let me put you on the spot, if I can, Ruth, for the benefit of the folks who don't know the show or the TV show or read the book or whatever, and I think we lost them. Let's see if we can get them back. And I'm gonna pause the recording for a second here. Hi again, we're back with Ruth McLaughlin and her father, Christopher McLaughlin, and we're talking about the show that's going to be coming up at Hendersonville Theater in just a little bit of time, and that's Anne of Green Gables. And I was asking you, Ruth, for the benefit of the people who've never read the book or seen the show or whatever, can you give kind of a summary of what the show is all about?
So what it's all about is there's this little girl named Anne who originally what's her name? The mother who has a lot of kids.
I don't remember.
Well,
There's a
that's
lot
the
of
name.
misses in this.
Well, so Anne, there's this town of Avonlea. It's a little backwater town, and
And Anne is with a person with a mother of a lot of children because her parents passed away when she was little, so she's always like she's just this orphan girl who's been in a lot of homes. And then that mother, since her husband died, doesn't want Anne anymore. So she takes her to an orphanage. And then we go to a new scene where it's like about Matthew, this guy named Matthew who lives with his sister Marilla. And they live in Green Gables.
they live in the house Green Gables. Yeah.
House Green Gables.
Yeah,
They live in
Avonlea.
Avonlea.
Yeah.
And they basically were going to get a boy from the orphanage in Nova Scotia, and they were going to do it to help Matthew around the farm. And so Matthew goes to the orphanage with his carriage, and he finds Anne, which Anne was there. So he went ahead and took Anne and started writing to Green Gables. And this is set in like 18 something.
Yeah, it's the late 1800s or
Yeah.
turn of the century.
Just-
That's actually
just to let-
1908. but
Just
yeah.
to let the people know so
Yeah.
they know that it's not recently.
Yeah,
So-
and basically the gist is, sorry to cut you off, but that Anne kind of comes into their lives, and this is a very, sort of staid town where everything goes a certain way and people act a certain way, and she kind of shakes things up and
yeah, and she has
brings
a
magic with
she
her.
has a temper, and so
Yeah.
And Marilla is like all proper and stuff. So at first Marilla's like, why is this girl in my house making things harder? And Marilla has this friend named Rachel Lynde who likes to gossip about a lot of stuff
Very
and about a lot of stories. And like she told a story about a girl who put strychnine in the well and burnt people to a crisp in their beds. Like
We don't want to give away the whole story, but
Okay,
I know.
But
Yeah.
but that's great. Let me ask you this, Ruth, if I can. So Marilla and Matthew, do either of them remind you of your parents at all?
Not really.
No.
although Matthew's very sweet, I think.
Well, both of you kind of give off a little bit of Matthew vibe.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like
good.
shy and awkward.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't really that shy.
Yeah, Marilla's very stern. I mean, stern, but in a nice way. But
My brother.
yeah, and Matthew's he's shy, but he's kind and
Yeah.
It's,
And that's why Anne likes him a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
And let me ask you then both, maybe you could address this. So this seems like a perfect show for, who would you describe it? Who should be seeing this show?
Probably someone who likes family and like a coming of age story.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it's really a perfect story for almost anybody.
anybody of age
Yeah.
can watch this.
It's a great family story. It's perfect for all ages. I think it's a really sweet story. It's a really, but it's not. It doesn't have. It's not saccharine. It's not too sweet. I guess
Yeah,
it's
it's
got a
not
little
that-
edge to it. It's got some fun bits,
Yeah.
and it's very funny and
It's
very,
kind of like comedic and
but very touching, especially
Yeah,
toward the
touching.
end. It gets very, you a little weepy, little tears maybe at the end. So, but very nice. It's just a
spoiling the ending.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
very it's a heartwarming story that I think any age of any from 1 to 100 would enjoy it. Just if you like a good family comedy drama and just to be inspired to make change where you need to make change and to be a person who inspires other people, I think it's a great story.
Now, let me ask you both in terms of preparing for the show. As we had said, there's a very famous book that's based on. There's also been a couple of TV versions and movie versions. In terms of preparing for it, did you see any of those other versions beforehand, or?
So I've seen one that's the Canadian version.
The CBC version, yeah. Yeah.
And I watched the first one. I mean, there's sequels to it, but I watched like the first one because that's what this play is about. And that's and then another one I watched was the Anne with an E Netflix thing, except for I didn't watch all of it.
Yeah, we didn't get the
so-
chance to finish that one.
Yeah, because it was like during at the end of the
She's good
summer.
at research. She even got a graphic novel version of the
Yeah, I have a graphic novel too.
yeah of the novel. So yeah,
Because-
we're well researched.
Uh-huh.
Because some people feel, Ruth, so I'm interested in your reaction, that before they're going to be in a show or movie, they don't ever want to read about it or see it because it kind of, gives an image. So it's good. So you haven't seen this recently, is that correct?
A few months ago, I
A
guess.
few
Few
months
months,
ago,
okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, and I haven't really watched any bit of it. I was sort of a last minute add-on to the cast in some ways, so it was nice. It was nice to get the chance to do it, but I wasn't as prepared as Ruth was. to be Well, I wasn't originally cast on it, yeah, but then the Skylar had asked me to help out with a few parts that he couldn't find people for, and it worked out really well actually. So yeah.
Now, talk about the cast too, which it's kind of an interesting one. Aside from other members of your family, how many people are in this cast?
Let me do a quick count for you. I can bring it up. Let me
Approximately, yeah.
just a second. It's a good, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people. Seems about right. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
that's
a little yeah, between a dozen, 2 dozen. Yeah.
for Hendersonville. That's a big theater. Can you talk
Yeah.
about, aside from your son, can you talk about some other people in the show?
Yeah, I mean, our wonderful,
talk about
the wonderful Milo is Anne. Yeah. And did you want to talk about Milo or Daffodil, who plays?
so Daffodil, who is playing Diana.
Mm.
She's one of my best friends. Because I met her on Peter Pan because she was one of the Lost Boys, and so that's the first time I ever like talked with her, and then we became really close friends after that.
Yeah.
She's a couple years older than me. She's 14. She's turning 15.
Now we have a number of young people on the show, so that's very
Yeah.
exciting. We've got, I'm trying to think of some people you might have seen before. Kai Strange, who
Sure.
plays Gilbert. I'm sure you know Kai probably.
Right.
Genevieve, Levine, Annika, who's done a bunch of things here. They're pretty well known around
Well,
Hendersonville.
Annika, it's kind of interesting too, because she's playing, what's Annika's role in this?
Annika is playing. Let's see, they're playing Josie, Mrs. Spencer, and Mrs. Harris.
Because
So
amazing,
both the young person and one of the older people.
because that's the
So
amazing thing about Annika, she has this, she's older than she plays
yeah, right.
oftentimes.
Yeah, but can play younger or older, which is nice.
Right.
And yeah, we have a number of young people. Asher, Gabriella is on the younger side. Pretty much everybody, with the exception of some of the people who are playing older. Kit Brown, who plays Matthew, is quite wonderful, and you probably know Lynn Morton, who plays
Okay.
Marilla, has been in a bunch of stuff around here. So she was in Young Frankenstein. I know. I don't remember what else she's been in recently, but yeah.
Yeah, she was Young Frankenstein was just great. So was the
Yeah.
Annika, I think, was in Young
Was Annika
Frankenstein
was
too.
also in Young
Yeah,
Frankenstein. So
just
a few repertory players from around here. A number of new faces here in Hendersonville. A number of these are Asheville actors. Skylar knew a number of the young people from the Montford Moppets. So like I know Asher and Daff and a few other people are from the Moppets. So
And Kai, because he played
Kai.
me.
Right. So yeah.
okay. And talk about this, folks, in terms of people don't realize how much time is put into a rehearsal for a play. So you've been rehearsing this play so far for how long?
4 weeks, I guess.
I think 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've had how many rehearsals?
We've had quite a few rehearsals, yeah, and we've got 2 more weeks to go. So it's going to be about a 6-week process. So
And I've already memorized my lines. So
yeah, this is our first rehearsal with no line calls, so that'll be a fun one. We'll see how that goes, but
Okay,
but
but
Poor
that's
Milo's.
yeah, a lot of lines. She'll be fun.
well, what I love about this, and that's why I encourage people to see it, because people don't realize how much time and effort you put into a play,
Mhm.
as opposed to you only come for 2 weeks, and we'll talk about when they can see it. It's a very short run for all the time you put into it, rehearsal
Yeah.
on it. And for the benefit of folks who want to see the show and strongly recommend it, when's it running, Christopher?
Let me make sure I get the exact correct dates. It is running May the 2nd through May the 12th. And so the 2nd is a pay what you can night on Thursday at 7:30, but the main shows are Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fridays will be 7:30. The first Saturday is a 7:30. The second Saturday is a 3 o'clock matinee, and then both Sundays are 3 o'clock matinees on those 2 weekends.
Okay, so plenty of chance for people to see it. And we should mention the fact, though, that Hendersonville, it's really sweet little theater, but it's not a lot of seats. So if people want to see this,
No. I would get tickets now, and it's hendersonvilletheater.org. Hendersonville Theater, all one word.
And you got to buy it really fast because
Yeah.
they're selling out already.
Yeah, and it's Hendersonville Theater, TheAtre.org.
because I was going to ask you, is that the correct way to spell it, or this whole debate?
Both are correct in English, but yeah, the traditional spelling is RE, but a lot of people still spell it ER because it makes more sense in English. But the
And I
traditional
bet,
spelling is with RE. Yeah.
and I bet, as Ruth said, in terms of tickets selling pretty quickly, I imagine too that all your fans and friends are probably going to be coming to see this too. So
Yeah, my teacher is actually thinking of coming. So.
Yeah.
okay, would that be cool? But I guess with all the kids there, it means ticket sales will be pretty brisk. That everybody want to see their friends to see it too.
Yeah.
When your friends are there, do you get nervous at all, or do you like having them in the audience?
I actually feel more of a sign of relief because I see people that I know, and I usually act like better if I see people that I know. I mean, people that I don't know, I like acting like to as well because I want them to know that I'm good. But with my friends, they kind of already know.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing them again,
Yeah.
Okay. And let me ask you this in terms of when this run is over, do we have any future plans that both of you, either separately or going to individually doing, Ruth in particular? Do you have any
No,
other
she's-
shows coming up this summer?
Yeah.
So it's not really a show, but
Well, you're doing Moppets again.
that's
Okay.
right. I am doing Muppets.
Yeah, she's doing Winter's Tale with the Montford Moppets again.
Mhm.
I don't have anything lined up right now. Like I said, my wife is stage managing, and she stays busy here at the Hendersonville Theater and at theaters around the Western North Carolina doing stage managing and props. And
Basically everywhere.
actually, she'll be acting. I think coming up in the fall too. So anyway, we'll see. Well, I don't know if it's official yet, so I can't really say.
Okay.
But anyway,
Well,
but there should have some acting coming up to be announced. But yeah, and then she's doing a number. She'll be stage managing the Christmas show this year, for example, here at Hendersonville. So and she'll be helping to stage manage Legally Blonde, which is the big musical coming
I
up.
want to watch Legally.
So I'll be making sure Gideon and Ruth are getting to where they need to go while she's keeping the theater running. So
Ruth, yeah, just a couple of final questions. So you mentioned in spare time after this is over, you'll be with Moppets. How do you feel like, do you enjoy doing Moppets or do you enjoy non-Shakespeare stuff? What do you prefer?
So I like the Muppets because they don't only do Shakespeare, but they also do like other stuff, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But also it's for like younger people, which is nice because then I actually hang out with kids not my age because some of them are, you know, kids at least.
And they're sort of pared down versions that are easier to digest, I think, for people who maybe are new to Shakespeare. So that's nice for some people, especially younger people who maybe don't know as much about Shakespeare. It makes it a little easier to understand.
Mhm.
So I like it. Yeah.
And I'll ask both of you in terms of, so you mentioned, Christopher, you don't have anything lined up specifically beyond this show, but something will hopefully come up. Do you have anything that, if you were to be asked a dream role or something you'd always wanted to play or act in? Have you ever thought of that?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I've always loved doing Shakespeare. So I don't know, like there's always little, there's like the big ones like Hamlet, obviously, but there's I don't know. I've played most of my dream Shakespeare roles at this point. I've played Puck, I've played Mercutio, I've played um I would love to play Benedict at some point in Much Ado About Nothing. He's fun. Maybe when I'm an old man, I can play King Lear or something, but that's a ways off yet, I hope,
But
before I get cast as that. But or Henry V or something like that. Those I'd love to do Shakespeare again. It's been a long time. I did a lot of acting at Montfort when I was younger, so I'd love to get back into doing that again sometime. But I'm enjoying just kind of stepping in and doing some fun roles and having fun with what I have the opportunity to do.
And the final question I'll ask Ruth, in terms of some plays, or any particular role or play you'd like to do sometime in the future?
I don't know really. Oh, I'd like to be in Midsummer Night's Dream. It's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, and I wanted to be one of the fairies or something because
Yeah.
that'd be really fun.
You'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you see yourself after this role and some other stuff? Do you see yourself continuing in acting, or in the future, 10 years from
Yeah.
now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
She's
aside
very, I mean, I know she's my daughter, but she's very good. So I hope she does continue with it. And you're having fun, right? So,
Yeah.
well, there you go. That's the main thing.
Okay. And Christopher, you have fun with what you're doing?
Oh yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, especially with this one with the whole family being part of it. So I enjoy it. And so I'm a little pickier now that I used to be in everything when I was younger, and now I can kind of pick ones that I'm like, oh, that'll be fun to do. So so may not see me in every show, but hopefully when you see me, I'm really committed to it. So yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to
Same with
thank you.
me.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you for both being my guests. Before I let you off the air, just to recap again, Christopher, could you mention the dates and then
Yes.
how to get tickets?
So it's May the 2nd through the 12th. That's 2 weekends. That's the first Thursday night, then Friday night, Saturday night on the first weekend, Sunday afternoon. Those evening shows are at 7:30. The matinees are at 3. Then the second weekend, the Saturday show is a matinee at 3. And then Friday night and Sunday afternoon. The tickets can be purchased through the box office, which the easiest way to do it is online, hendersonvilletheater.org. And then just click on shows and events. You'll see Anne of Green Gables. If you click on it, there's a ticket link right there. Also on the website, you can find a phone number if that's more comfortable for you. They even do occasionally have walk-up box office here in downtown Hendersonville as well. So lots of ways to get tickets. So definitely check that out.
Anyway, I hope you both have an amazing run. I'm looking forward to seeing it as well. I'll see you at the theater in the near future. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Blaine.
And I'd also like to thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti, and we'll hopefully, like I said, see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks.